back to God in the Grocery Aisle.
Hello.
We have our special guests. You may recognize these faces because they've been on before. This is our dad, Deo. Beautiful. Our mom, Linda. Mom's been on a couple of times now. And Dad was on our Christmas episode. And so we're all here together as family because we are camping in Show Low, Arizona. And we all drove our trailers in. Mark and I, my husband and I drove from Texas, and they drove from Phoenix. And my sister's husband and her kiddos are here. So it's the whole bunch is up here.
Family affair.
Yes. So we're excited to be together, and we're going to talk about some of our camping adventures today and the way that God has shown up for us in our I don't know, camping, our travels.
In lieu of, because we're trying to focus more on the weekly God in the Grocery Aisle stuff, but this is very pertinent to our week because we're camping.
Yes, and there is stuff that we're going to talk about that has happened this week.
Yeah.
So it will be weekly.
Yeah. So,
and it's also memories, some memories that we've had.
Yeah, looking back, looking present.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah, a little something for everybody. Okay, so we, ever since we've been kiddos, little. Well, why don't you want somebody say?
Okay. Well, we started. Dale and I started coming to Full Hollow.
Well, we started going camping before we started coming here.
Yeah, we camped in like some little spots in Sedona.
Creek, yeah.
Yeah. So, but when we started coming up here, the kids were already born. I mean, they were, So we started coming up here when they were probably, I'm going to say 9 and 10.
Well, since they're 3 years apart.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I was younger than that. I was probably 8-ish, 7, 8 when we started coming here.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe not because
I didn't
you
think
weren't
she was that young. But
anyway,
anyways,
some point when we were young.
We started coming up to Full Hollow in Show Low, and we absolutely love it up here. And the kids loved it, and so they grew up camping in.
Well, we should say that camping is
we use that term very loosely.
It's not really what this is.
Well, they used to call us the Clampets.
It's kind of evolved, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It started out with, did we ever just use a tent?
No, not Brianne and I.
Okay, well, we had the truck camper, camp over camper.
Which I just want to say, I see those now, and I'm like, I don't think me and Mark could fit in one of those. Like, how did the four of us fit in these, like,
two dogs.
and two dogs,
medium-sized dogs?
Like, we were really crammed in there. Yeah.
But we had everything we needed. We had sleeping quarters. We had a little kitchen. And
well, yeah, I don't remember being crammed in there. Like, I remember it always being really fun. I just look at them now, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's crazy that we were all in that.
Well, it didn't last very long. I think we did that for a couple of years.
A few years
in Oak Creek, and then we started coming here, and I think we had it like 1 or 2 years up here. And then, I mean, even just so then the trailer that you ended up buying. Well, and the truck, that was like a God in the Grocery Aisle thing, right?
Yes, very much.
The camper was too, wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
that's true.
It was.
That's
It
true.
started off with the camper that was a God in the Grocery Aisle.
I remember that.
Okay, so say what happened with that, because I remember.
So,
oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, do you want to say it? Do you want to tell?
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, I might have some of the story wrong.
That's okay. They won't know. We won't remember.
Yeah, but I don't have the best memory.
We're just making it up to go on.
So I guess he wanted a truck, and we started praying about getting a truck, and we wanted to go camping, but we didn't have a lot of money when the girls were little. And so Dale, one day he came home and he said, is that what happened?
Yeah, he was like, I saw this truck on the side of the road, basically.
35th Avenue in Kemmel.
Yeah, so
just
it was
parked for
something
sale time.
So we went, and as a family, I believe, we went and looked at this truck, and it had a camper with it, which we were so excited because it's like, oh my gosh, we can start going camping now. And so
it was like really cheap for what the setup was, and to be able to get all of it and you guys be able to afford it at the time was
right. It
really
was just God. It was
blessing.
God. It was a blessing because we just didn't have a lot of money. So to be able to find this truck with a camper and be able to start taking the girls camping, it was like, this dream come true. And it was a God thing. I mean, God just made it happen. And so that was our first vehicle that we had that we could actually start camping in. And I guess we did start in, was it Sedona? I
Yeah.
don't remember. Yeah. So the first time, but it worked out perfect. It was wonderful. And we just had such a great time, just the four of us and our two dogs going out camping. And
I will say, go ahead.
go ahead.
You're saying it was perfect, but we were in Sedona, which is like Red Rock
Yes.
territory.
Yeah,
It was not perfect, but it was.
There was like red mud everywhere, and both.
I think it rained. I
At
think
one time it rained and rained and rained, and everything in the
was red
camper
mud.
red.
Yeah, and my parents are like the most like clean, meticulous people you will ever meet. So to have red mud covering
And
everything
dogs-
with the kiddos,
Dogs
the dogs.
in the red mud. That
Yeah,
was, you're right.
I think that's when we stopped. That was like the second year, and we stopped going there.
Yes.
After that.
That's when
that's
we
how we
found
found
here.
Full Hollow,
Yeah.
which is you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
kind of forgotten the grocery aisle.
And
They couldn't deal with the red mud, so we found this beautiful place instead.
we did come up here maybe once by ourselves, but I know that we still had the camper when the rest of our family, my mom and dad, and their Nana and Papa, and I think Sherry and Paul. I think because I remember them making fun of us in the trailer because we had to put a clothesline outside and hang up all of our clothes. And we had this camper, and they were just telling us we were the Clampets and making fun of us. But I mean, the whole family was here. My mom and dad, and my sister and her husband.
Which meant our cousins too.
So talk about fun. That was a lot of fun and good memories. And I don't think anything happened those times. Oh,
Yeah, it did.
yeah. Tell them what happened.
So this truck was a gas burning truck with the trailer, with the camper. And so we left here one time and we got to like the edge of the rim and the thing overheated to the point where we had to stop. We couldn't go any further. We had to let it cool down. It wasn't that it needed more coolant or anything. Nothing happened mechanically. It couldn't pull anything. And so Linda just got so overwhelmed. She's like, we are never doing this again. We have to buy another vehicle. If we're ever going to camp again, we can't use this rig. So we went from there to...
Well, I don't know. I think, is that the last time we used that thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then wasn't it in a gas station that you found the next one?
That
Was
was
the gas
no,
station?
the camper was the gas station.
Oh,
That's where
camper
we
was
found
the gas
that was at a
station.
gas
Okay.
station. That was the camper.
Okay.
So I guess that was the last time we used the camper.
Well, so then you found another rig, and I just want to say, like, you know, we're kind of like storytelling. We're a little all over the place, but like, I just want to call out, like, already in this story, like, you see God in these like small things, like, you know, this idea that like, okay, God, we really want to be able to take our family camping, glamping, like whatever you want to call it. Like, that's something that's
It
really
wasn't glamping then.
yeah, but you know, like Mom said, like they didn't really have a ton of money when we were kids, and so it was like wanting to be able to do something fun with their family and like create memories and whatever, and that was really important to them. And like that's not necessarily something that you would think that God really cares about, like, you know, and yet he does. And he, like,
I think because it can feel a little extra. It's like, well, some people aren't able to do that stuff or whatever, you know, so it can feel a little like, is it okay to ask for that
Yeah.
or want that, you know?
yeah,
But like God has shown up for us in those ways because it is important to him because it was important to us.
yeah,
Mom and
that's really true. And then like somehow there's almost been like a legacy created of that, where like now you and I, for, you know, our families, like that's really important to us. And
Which
you know,
I think is also kind of like a God thing, and that it has become something that even we do, because like for the longest time I wanted to do it, and like I really wanted a trailer, and I was always the one, like my husband and I even came up a couple of times and tent camped before we had a trailer, but like it was never really Mark's thing, you know. But like we ended up coming up here one time with y'all because we moved to Texas. Really, I think this is why we moved to Texas, and we wanted to be able to spend some extra time with y'all. So we got like a VRBO the first year we ever met y'all up here. We drove from Texas, got the VRBO, and Mark loved it up here so much that we ended up buying a trailer.
Well, let's go back a little bit, because when you guys had the VRBO, you would come here and spend kind of the day with us, and Jared and Mark became bros. That's when they really did. You know, they got to be, you know, Mark started talking to Jared about his truck and his trailer, and he really started getting into it. And as soon as they got home, was it the truck he got first, or was it the trailer he bought?
We had the truck already.
Okay, so you had your truck. So as soon as Mark and Chelsea got home, They went out
Which-
trailer hunting.
And I'll say this too. We were here staying in a VRBO. We had no trailer, and I booked a spot for us to camp here the following year,
That's
just on
right.
a wing and a prayer that my husband would want a trailer.
That's
And
right.
I'm not even the one that pushed for it. It was just we got home and he was like started looking at them, and then we ended up finding one. But I had booked us a spot because I was like, I just had a feeling, you know.
Did Mark even know you booked the spot? I don't
don't
remember.
think he
I don't think he
did.
did. I don't think he even knew that you booked the spot.
I think after I booked it, I told him, but
because you have to book up here like a year in advance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Even that's kind of a God thing because it's so difficult to get spots here. It's so popular. It's such a nice venue to stay in that these guys have to work this long, complicated
we know how to work
algorithm
this
to
system.
get anything to happen. So every year it's this,
It's a whole to do.
yeah, it takes forever, and we're always just hoping that we get what we want. So
Yeah.
it always works out.
Well, I mean, a similar thing kind of happened with Jared and I. Not exactly, but like Jared's family didn't really. I mean, they camped, but they like tent camped. And then the first year, we came up with mom and dad. We actually stayed, and mom and dad had gotten a new trailer. We kind of got away from the series of mom and dad's trailers, but they had gotten a small like 19-foot trailer, and then they had upgraded to a bigger trailer, and so we were in their like small 19-foot trailer, and Jared like just fell in, like similar to Mark, like just fell in love with it up here and like wanted to come up every year. And so we were staying in mom and dad's little tiny trailer.
How many years did you stay in that
I don't know,
trailer?
two or 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, the last year that we stayed in it, we had asked Dad, how are the tires? Like, do we need to look at the tires on the thing? Dad was like, oh no, I just replaced them like 3 years ago. So we stayed in the trailer, and it was like falling apart.
It was
and
leaking.
It was leaking, and like just everything was like falling apart. But we were just, happy to be coming up here. And so we went to drive home, and we had a blowout on the, like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes from
Every
the
20
campground.
miles,
And so we had to call my parents and have them come meet us. We didn't have kids at the time, thankfully.
Did Jared change the first tire himself? Or did we come back and then have to go?
Yeah.
We did? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we got that one fixed. We drove about another 30 minutes or so, and we were right outside Payson, and we had a second tire blow. And we managed to, thankfully, it was a God thing. We were so close to Payson that we were able to go into Payson, get a tire, go back.
Well, that's not what happened.
Yeah,
Gavin and I-
we got it to, we got it to a,
Trailer, a tire place.
to a mechanic
right.
to work on it, and then
Yeah.
you guys ended up having to come pick it up. But so all of that happened, and that was kind of the impetus for us being like, yeah, we can't keep staying in this thing. So we ended up actually staying in your big trailer
Yeah.
a couple of years.
Because we have an actual like living room, so we had a blow up mattress in the living room. We had.
Well, yeah, but actually, then after that happened, then you guys got in the accident in the one that you had been in.
Oh, did you ever stay in that one with us?
We were staying in this one. So you guys got in that big
before we even
accident.
got the big one.
Because this is part of what we were going to talk about is how, like, in all of these years coming up, we've had these really eventful things that have been kind of like
I forgot about
a
them.
scary big deal. So let's back up a little bit, because some stuff happened before the accident even happened, like when we were kids, where we were like stuck on the side of the road in like pouring rain.
We'll tell them, because I don't remember some of it. Go ahead and tell them that.
Well, like there was one time where we were driving up here and it was raining so hard that, I mean, you couldn't see, like Dad couldn't see to drive. And so we ended up having to pull over on like the side of a kind of like winding road. Right. And we're just like, I mean, really praying that like we don't get hit by a car.
Because you couldn't see anything.
You couldn't see anything. Nobody could see anything. And it was just like really scary. Me and Brian, I think, were like crying.
I don't remember this. I must have
blacked it out.
Blacked out the trauma.
Because it was really scary. And it ended up just, clearing, and we were able to get back on the road and drive and make it here. Right. But that was kind of a like, I don't know. It was just a really scary thing that we were like all praying, like, God, please keep us safe and don't let us get hit by a car, because a car wouldn't have been able to see us on the side of the road. And we did. We got here safely. And there was several things that happened like that in our years coming up, where it's like something would break on the trailer that seemed really like, oh, we're not going to be able to make this trip work. We're going to have to end up going home.
We had one year where your dually broke down.
Yes.
Halfway here.
Yes.
And it was like blazing hot, because we go camping in the middle of an Arizona summer. So, it's 110, 115 degrees. I don't remember how we ended up getting out of that one, but
do you remember the time we came up with my parents, Sherry and Paul, and we had to pull over? It was the middle of the night. I don't know if we had a tire blowout, and they had to just come on up without us, and we had to go find an RV park because we couldn't make it up here. We had to wait till the next morning because it was midnight when this happened, and we all pulled over and we just told them, just go ahead, get spots up there. We're going to go find somewhere to park this thing, and in the morning we'll go find a place that maybe hopefully we can get a tire for it. And we were able to do that. God saw that through. He saw us up here. We were able to actually come up and get a great time. So
I don't know if this is the right place to insert this, but all these things that we're talking about and other things that happen that we may not even get to, in the moment, me for sure, and she for sure, and probably you guys to some extent, are just like angry, overwhelmed, anxious, everything you can describe for emotion. But we always get through it. And in retrospect, half the time we laugh about it.
Yeah.
So I think the thing to learn from that is when it does happen, you don't have to freak out. You know that God's going to get you through it. One way or another, it's going to get figured out. So don't, in the moment, decide that you're going to melt down.
Yeah. But saying that, like, it's really easy to say that.
I know that, but it's a lesson that we need to keep.
For sure, 100%. I'm not arguing with the lesson. It is the right lesson. What I'm saying is, like, we have experienced all those things, and we in theory should know that lesson. And I think still, like, for Chelsea and I mean, you even had that happen
just today. And Dad was saying, okay, so this is our weekly one that I was going to talk about.
Let's come back to that one. Because I want to finish. There's a couple things I want to finish about the past. One of them being the thing that happened with you guys getting tangled up. So one of you tell that, and we also need to talk about the accident. So that comes before this one.
Yeah, I mean we've just been kind of like all over.
Well, we have a lot to say about.
Hopefully, people are following us.
Tell the story about you guys and going down to the lake because you were pretty young.
To Dad's point, Brianna and I have been freaking out about stuff since we were little kids, and Dad is very good about not freaking out about stuff.
Or if he is freaking out, he does a good job of not showing
demeanor.
it.
Yeah, keeps us all grounded.
He has to be the grounded one because us three freak out.
Yeah, so Brianna and I were little. I don't know how old, but
this is probably one of the first years we had come up.
So I'm maybe 6, 7 at this point, and you're 9 or 10, and Mom and Dad had let us go to the lake by ourselves.
Which is like. Nobody knows why they would have let us do that.
You see them as grandparents, and it's like those are not the same parents. Those are not.
There's a bottle of scotch somewhere involved.
I
think what it was you were like trying to set up, and you were probably just like, get out of here.
We were trying to set up, and you just were biting at the bit to get to the lake, and we're like, okay, but this is the way you have to go. You have to stay on this path, and you guys took a different path.
How many times Dad has told me this is the way you have to go, stay on this path, and I'm calling Dad like I ain't lost. So this is also something I've been dealing with my whole life, and Dad too. But so we got there fine. We followed the path on the way there, but then trying to get back up, we got very confused, and it's like rocky. We started like climbing up the rocks to get back to the campsite, and Brienne's sock and foot and whole.
I had frilly socks on. I had socks that had lace around the like.
Yes, always lace socks and a dress. You're probably wearing a dress.
Probably.
And it got snagged on some fishing line and a fishing hook.
Well, you just blew the punchline there.
Did I?
I got stuck, and we didn't know that's why I was stuck. Like, we couldn't see the fishing line.
No, you could. You guys were trying to entangle it, and you couldn't.
No, we didn't know why I was stuck.
No, you're right.
I was like screaming, Chelsea, go get help! Chelsea, go get help!
And so I'm trying to scale these rocks, which, at the time seemed truly like I was like bouldering through.
For a 6-year-old, I mean, it was probably a lot.
And I couldn't see a trailer. I didn't know where Mom and Dad were, so I'm just like trying to get to the top of the thing, and Brianne's screaming, and I was
panicking because I didn't know what was happening.
So I think I back to the campsite
after you had left. I finally figured out what was happening, and I was able to untangle myself.
I think Dad had to untangle you.
No, by the time he got there, I had managed to untangle myself. But I mean, it was like within a minute or two.
But when Chelsea got back to the campground and she's crying,
I
just booked, and I'm like, "Where is she?" And Dale's just sauntering down. He's just walking down. No big deal. And I'm thinking, my kid.
Yeah, but turns out she was just snagged in a little fishing line. Yeah, and it was a real easy fix. But we were totally freaked
I
out.
don't know where God was in that moment because
Well, he was there. He kept.
he was. I'm saying I don't think I saw him in that moment, even though he was there. But
But here's another one I want to share with the God in the grocery aisle moment was we were camping in that little trailer that you guys had borrowed and had the 2 flats in. And so Dale calls me. He's at the fire station one day and he calls me. And because we were outgrowing that little trailer, it was little, it was getting older. And he calls me, I was at work, and he says, hey, he says, how would you like to buy a new trailer? Or not a new trailer, but he says, how would you like to buy another trailer? It's a lot bigger than what we have. And I said, well, like, how big is it? So I don't know, was it like 30 feet? So I was working in this mailroom, and so we got a tape measure out, and I put the tape measure out, and I went out 30 feet, and I'm like, that thing's huge compared to what we have. So it's like, okay, what is it that how could we even afford this? And he's like, a couple of firemen that worked for him brought this trailer in. They bought this trailer and decided they didn't want it. And what they wanted to sell it for was crazy. The price was like, are you kidding me? Yes, get the trailer. So we bought it on the spot. And now we have this huge trailer, something we never thought we'd have. So we went from a camper to this little trailer to now we have a big trailer. And we had that how many years? Oh, and it had bunks in it. So the girls each had their own bunk and had a kitchen and a kitchen table and a couch, and it was
a long time. It was probably
at least 10 years.
10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah, 10, 12, 15 years we probably had it. And so the reason we didn't have that one anymore and got a new one, is it okay if we start on that story? Because do you want to tell the story about, huh?
Go for it.
Well, anyway, so Dale and I had gone to Tucson, and in this trailer that we bought from these 2 firemen, and we'd had this trailer for 10, 15 years. And on the way home from Tucson, the freeways were pretty crowded, and we were in the left-hand lane, and the traffic was moving pretty fast, and all of a sudden just came like to a dead stop. So he had to try to get over with truck and trailer. He had to try to get over in the right-hand lane because if he didn't, he wasn't going to be able to stop in time, and he was going to rear end the cars in front of us. So he got over, and traffic started moving again. So we're going, and all of a sudden we both felt this bump, and we're just moving forward, and the trailer started swinging around, and we ended up on the side of the road with facing the exact opposite of where we had gone. And how our trailer, when we were swinging around, didn't hit the cars on the other side of us, we have no idea, because there was so much traffic. And so we swung around, ended up in the dirt on the other side. And
the last minute the trailer went.
The last minute our trailer turned over on us, and the semi that had hit us from the back and pushed us his trailer was coming straight at us. It was turning straight towards us, and there was, all you could see was just dust, and all I could see was that trailer was going to come and just smack us right in the truck. And the whole time I'm yelling, Jesus, 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 and Dale's over the other side saying, it's okay, we've got this, and I'm yelling, Jesus, Jesus. And sure enough, the tractor trailer stopped before it hit our truck, but our trailer behind us was it was gone. I mean, it was tipped over. It had torqued Dale's truck, the back end of the truck. So we've got, by the time everything was said and done, the police came and were like, what do we do? How do we get home? Well, you have to call somebody. So I think I tried to call Jared and Brianne. They didn't answer. I called Chelsea, and her and Mark answered, and I told them what happened. And
told us what happened is a very calm way of saying that you hysterically cried, saying, we got in an accident.
Yeah.
It was very scary.
It was very traumatic, yes. And so they had to leave Phoenix. And where did this happen, Dale?
Casa Grande almost.
About Casa Grande. So it took them a long time to get there, because now both sides of the freeway were completely miles
it caused
up.
a huge backup, so we had to swing around. But we were able to pick them up, and we ended up getting the trailer towed, and it was all good. Everyone was safe. Nobody got hurt. But and because of that accident, you ended up getting insurance money, and
we were able to buy our 5th wheel, it was a brand new trailer, and we love it. And Jared and Brianne have stayed in this with us with their firstborn and the secondborn, and we just packed everybody in there.
Yeah.
But God was definitely with us in that accident. I mean, his hand was all in that for sure. Because even the truck driver didn't get hurt, and he jackknifed, and so
it was a very scary scene. I mean, like when you just pulled up on it, it was like, oh my gosh, how was everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
But everyone was. So
God, yes, he was with us.
Yeah, he's been, protecting us all along the way. And Mark and I have had some really scary things in our trailer. And the very first time we took our trailer out, after we'd gotten it, we ended up in a tornado warning at the campground that we were at, and we had to get into the bathroom with our dogs. Everyone in the campground at that time was in the bathroom because there was like the sirens were going, the electricity was out, and the bathrooms were like the safest place to be at a campground in tornado warning. And the tornado ended up hitting the town just over from where the campground was, so it didn't actually hit our campground, but it was pretty close. And that was the very first time we'd ever been in the trailer camping, and I was like, this is it, I'm never doing this again, I'm done.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. I was so scared, and obviously that wasn't the case. We travel so much now with the trailer, but we've had a lot of near misses with weather, tornadoes, hurricanes, just really bad storms. There's been a lot of things that God has protected us from, and like really carried us through, and really like shown himself in like the midst of the storm in a lot of ways for us many times as we've traveled. So we also had a similar situation to Brianne and Jared, and the little trailer that they had 2 blowouts in. We also had 2 blowouts in a trailer, and we were driving really far, hundreds and hundreds of miles, and we've gotten maybe a quarter of the way there. We had 1 blowout. We had to call, get the tire replaced.
What happened to your trailer when you had that blowout?
Blew the floor out, so now we had to duct tape the floor because now we're miles and miles away from home. So we had the 1 blowout, got that fixed, keep driving, same thing. Maybe, I don't know, it might have been 50, 60 miles down the road. We have another blowout. That one blows a huge hole in the other side of the trailer, the floor, the wall. I mean, there's dust everywhere. So that side had to get duct taped, and we ended up finishing the trip with just duct tape over the trailer. But because that happened, we ended up trading our trailer in to get a bigger trailer that was like, it fits us a lot better and all our dogs.
But in defense of us giving you the old trailer,
Yeah,
that was a brand new trailer.
it was not old, and
So it still can happen.
Yeah. And that whatever evidently happens a lot where you have 2 blowouts back to back like that. But both times that, and the other thing with our blowouts is we had just gotten a new bigger truck before that trip, which was like pretty unexpected. But had we not had the bigger truck and been pulling that trailer, there's a good chance that Mark would have lost control because the force was like so crazy with the blowout. But because we had the bigger truck, he was really able to stay in control and get us pulled over safely to the side of the road. But it's still scary being on the side of the road in a trailer. You're on the highway. I mean, semis are just racing past you. So to be able to safely pull over, get the tires changed. I mean, you all know, we've all experienced the blowouts. It's very scary, but God
blowouts
is.
And whatever coming off the
steam.
Neoprene exhaust sleeves.
The exhaust sleeve. Yeah, he had to fix that on the side of the road one time. We have no cell service, so we couldn't call for help. And that was in our truck we have now.
Yeah.
And our big trailer.
Yeah, we've all had a lot of like mechanical or like, scary car things happen when we've been up traveling, but God's protected us through all of that too. And goes back to Dad's point that like, it is really easy, like you were saying, to just freak out in the moment. But I think that's often why God takes us through things like this, is to like help us exercise that muscle of like, I'm going to get you through this.
Building the resilience.
Yeah. Which
building your faith. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Which you think after 40 years
that we would be better at it, but us would be a little stronger.
Almost 70 years.
Yeah, it's it's hard though, but God is always faithful, and even when bad things happen, and we're fortunate to be able to say like those things all turned out fine, and He got us through, and nothing catastrophic truly happened. That's not always the case. Like catastrophic things do happen. It doesn't always turn out fine, but the point is God is always walking through that with you. He's always using it for your good and His glory. He always has a way to use it for His glory.
When our trailer turned over, I really thought that our days of camping were over, because we still didn't have a lot of money. We're not rich people. And I just really thought, we'll never find another $3,000 trailer like what turned over. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen again. So I just really thought, when I called Chelsea and told her what happened, I said, this is it. We're done camping. And God had other plans, and was a lesson for me is.
Well, I don't even know that the money aspect of it was the biggest thing. The other thing was like, you were terrified to even
I
get
had
in
PTSD
the car.
for a long time after that. Yes.
So,
yeah. Huh?
Dad?
Oh, I know. I do still have it, especially when we have to go by semis. I still have a problem with that. But yeah, God has always been there, and it is, they have been important lessons. And you want to tell about your lesson today?
Yeah, so his dad was saying, like, it's important to stay calm and God will get us through, like, just today. So we're here. My husband drove back to Phoenix to see his family, so I'm in our trailer alone. And we have, like, an automatic lock where you can, like, type in the numbers and the lock will open or the door will open. And there's also backup keys. There's 2 backup keys. And it gets jammed sometimes. And when it gets jammed, you need the key to unlock the thing. Well, my husband and I both forgot to leave a key with me. And so he has both the keys. And he's at this point 3 hours away from where I am. And so my mom and me and my dad were taking groceries into my trailer and the door is jammed. And my dogs are in there barking and I can't get to them. And I have no keys, I realized in that moment, to open the door. And so I was just like, I can't get in. I have no keys. And Dad's saying, don't panic. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. And I'm just sitting there. My sister's across the way and I'm just staring at her, just like, what's going on?
Praying, Lord, please.
Can't get in my
I
trailer.
can see the face, the panic start flooding into the face.
I was just like, every thought, like, obviously I'm going to get in the trailer, but Mark's going to have to drive all the way back here. We're going to have to break a window. This is going to be terrible. And because I didn't totally lose it.
There's
In
no
the
options.
You did call Mark though, and
I just texted him to say, like, did you happen to leave a key? And he called and was like, oh no, you're locked out. I forgot to leave it. And meanwhile, Dad's working on the thing, seeing if he can get in with not a bead of sweat on his forehead. And he just maneuvered it right and was able to open the thing up. And I was praying as well, not aloud, but I was just like, God, please let me get into this trailer.
And the concern was the dogs.
Yeah, they were stuck in there, and one of my dogs is barking maniac. I don't know how to say that word. He's barking like a maniac, and I'm just like thinking it's going to be hours before I can get to him.
Yeah.
But Dad
he's an old pup.
pushes the thing, and the door pops open, and it was no big deal, and it was just like a really quickly answered prayer. And Mom and Dad have had the same thing happen.
Yes,
Their door got jabbed, and Mom was freaking out.
Well, no, I actually didn't.
You didn't. You're right. That's right.
Probably the first time I didn't ever freak out when something like this happened.
Yeah.
We had gone for our walk and came back, and we had the same setup as they do, and we were trying the door, and it wouldn't open. And we have windows that you can't get into unless one of them's open, and nothing was open. And he sat there for probably 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes, maybe longer. And you tried windows and you kept going over and it was not going to move. And I was just sitting at the picnic table, not freaking out like I usually do. I left him alone.
Internally.
Well, I was just praying, Lord, because I knew we were, maybe we could call a locksmith. I knew that God had always been faithful. So my faith muscle did increase.
And I remember talking about that at the time, actually, of like, it's a good opportunity to like exercise that faith muscle and like for God to be able to be faithful.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something that I was just thinking is like, God, I think he works in the things. We have struggles in the things that we really care about often, and he uses the things that we really care about to grow our faith. And sometimes that means we're going to have more challenges in the things we really care about. And like, I'm kind of having this realization, like as we're talking about this, that, if it's something you don't really care about, well, then you're just going to stop trying if you're just meeting obstacle after obstacle after obstacle.
Or it just doesn't matter to you, so you don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. But, like for whatever reason, God put this desire in Mom and Dad's heart, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, to be able to take their family camping. And like that has trickled down to Chelsea and I, and now my girls, they love it. And this is the thing that like, I think I could see them doing, in their lives in the future.
And be something that's passed down.
Yeah. And yet like, there's been thing after thing after thing, but like God has used that because he knows that we care about, he's put that desire in our heart, and he knows that we love this and it's something that's important to us, and we're going to keep pushing through because it is a strong desire that we have. and it means a lot to us. And so he's used that in many ways to like grow this faith muscle. And I don't know if I'm like really doing justice there to like what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we care enough to persevere through the difficult things, and he knows that. And so he's able to use this thing to put the difficult things in our path.
Well, and to finish that story, I'm over there praying, he's over there working, and there's no reason that the door should have opened, but he was able to actually get the door opened. And what the problem was screws had come out of on the inside of the door. Screws had come out, which kept the mechanism from being able to move. But God, there's no other way. God just answered the prayer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think sometimes that is how it is. You know, there is supernatural intervention, and sometimes we brush that under the rug of like, well, we just figured it out. Dad figured it out, and Dad always does figure it out. That's true, but I do think God works through Dad sometimes to be able to just figure it out because you know there is supernatural.
Well, that time it should not have opened. It was broken, and it did open.
Yeah,
yeah. So that was definitely a God in the grocery aisle moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's shown up for us like in so many ways through all of these years of us doing this thing that we really love and really care about, and it's like so important to us. And there's like just daily challenges, especially for you with the kids and the dogs and all the things like camping, that I think is kind of the same thing of like, it helps you kind of work through some of that because it is so important to you to be able to bring the kids up here. And it's like, now we all meet here, but Mark and I are so far away. And so we are able to just work through the difficulties and want to work through the difficulties to make sure that it's something that keeps happening for our family.
Yeah.
And we're super blessed that
absolutely
we all love it and we all care about it and we can do this thing together, and it always brings us closer and sometimes makes us want to tear each other's hair out. I'm just kidding, but we love it so much and it's been so great. Yeah. So that's it. That's what we got. All right. Well, thank you, Mom, for joining us, and thank you, Dad, for joining us, and thank you both for
having us,
introducing this thing that we love so much and it's so important to our family. And thank you, God, for showing up for us through all of these years and bringing us through the difficult times and
for sure
allowing us to continue doing this.
Using it to grow each of us, but also to allow us to continue to do something that we love for years and hopefully years to come.
Yeah.
Well, and just the fact that you guys, we've all been able to get trailers that have worked for all of us has been almost a miracle in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell the story of our trailer too, and you guys, and he's, you know, we don't want to say like, oh, God blesses everyone with some trailer, you know, like,
no,
but for whatever reason in our lives, that's something that God has chosen to bless us with, and we're just super grateful for that. And so yeah, I mean, I think we could go on for another hour or two about all the things the ways that we see God in camping and just both the struggle and the blessing that has been throughout our lives. But I think we've said enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Fran, do you want to pray us out?
Sure.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to just share the ways that you have been with us and blessed us and used this thing that we love as a family to grow us. And we pray that each of our listeners would take something away, that even if it's not the same as what we've talked about here today, even if it's not camping, or even if it's not a whole family affair, that you would breathe on this to speak the message that you have for them in this, and just how you show up in challenges, both to bless us, but also to grow us. And we just thank you for putting this desire in Mom and Dad's heart so many years ago, and the blessing that it has been for our family. And we pray that you would continue to bless it for many years to come. And we just ask that you would continue to keep us safe for the rest of this trip and bless all of our trips home and protect us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right.
Bye.
We'll
get you next time.
Thanks for joining us on the God in the Grocery Aisle podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend to help us spread the movement.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and leave us a 5-star review. Until we see you again, we hope you find God in the grocery aisle.